been talking here about battery and financial abuse. I mean, the old term wife beating is dated, but the most serious of these abusive relationships often ends up with the victim being shot to death. You've written that a staggering portion of violence against women is fatal, and a key driver of these homicides is access to guns. So what are your policy prescriptions? What policy prescriptions would you favor to keep the guns out of abusers and stalkers?
Yeah, so teeing off of what Dara was just saying, we've done some research recently. 33% of murders of women in this country right now occur in an intimate partner context, and more than 50% of those homicides are caused by guns. So access to firearms by domestic abusers is a significant problem in this country, and it's a problem that at Center for American Progress we've been focusing on, as well as with partners in NADV and the YW and a number of other organizations to really drive attention to this issue. There are some really basic policies. The first one of which is background checks. We need a background check for every gun sale. It's estimated as high as 40% of guns change hands in this country without a background check, which is absurd. We need to make sure that the laws prohibit all of the categories of dangerous people from being able to purchase guns. The federal law has some of those in place right now. There are a few loopholes that need to be fixed. Senator Klobuchar has a bill addressing some of those, as well as Senator Blumenthal. We need to make sure that all of the records of those prohibited people make it into the background check system so that when background checks are conducted, they flag all of the right people. And then we need to make sure that prohibited domestic abusers have their guns, are relieved of their guns once they become
Let me jump in there. Recently, Every Town for Gun Safety, an organization that you know that was funded by Mike Bloomberg, looked at mass shootings in the country and found 110 of them over the last 5 years, which is itself pretty shocking. But the little known thing is that of those shootings, 57% related to domestic or family violence. But Kim, you noted at the time, you were asked about this study, many of those killers were stalkers and convicted abusers who were already barred by federal law from owning guns.
Right, which means they stepped right through those loopholes. They bought off of a Craigslist gun sale website, they bought at a gun show, one of the areas where nobody is checking to see that they were prohibited from owning a firearm.
About when she said every gun sale.
Exactly. Every gun sale needs to have a background check, but it also needs to be expanded because one of the things we know, and I looked at that report and I looked at each of the cases, and what I also saw was that the majority of those happened after the woman had already left the relationship or was in the process of leaving. So we know that that's the most dangerous time for a woman who is a victim of domestic violence, is actually when she's trying to break that power and control, when she's trying to leave the relationship. That's the most lethal time for her, and it apparently is the most lethal time for a lot of bystanders because these are mass shootings. So if that does not put a rest to why doesn't she just leave, then I don't know what would, because it's dangerous for her to leave. People need to stop asking why doesn't she leave and start asking why is he beating her and why isn't somebody doing something about it.